about Pythagoras is that he was a student of Kabbalah for probably about 10 years in Egypt, near Alexandria, because he went there to learn what he learned from Egyptian priests, but there was a Merkava school of Kabbalah extant at that time, which is about soul travel. So this is his version, and what he used with his students. It's the emblem, actually, of the Pythagorean order. So when, whoops, I must have got to go back. Not that far. Okay. So basically, this is just the number 10. 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots, 4 dots. What you have is 9 triangles held by another one, and that's the 10th. So that's Pythagorean. Pythagoras' version of the tree of life is what it is. And if you look at you look through the fields, there's many times where this is underneath as a grid when the geometry of sacred circles is created. I've seen it about a dozen anyways. And if you look at the card deck later, and there's going to be one out at the display area, you would find it there, okay? So it may be that Pythagoras, as an ascended master, has something to do with the creation of crop circles. I put that out to you. We'll talk about that later when we get to a later circle. And in this one, it's interesting. It's surrounded by the zodiac. So there you have the 10 plus the 12, making 22, which is the master number, 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. What people don't understand about Hebrew is that the whole of the Hebrew text is a coded text built on number mysticism. And each of those 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet is in fact a pictogram, a sonogram, meaning it can be used for sonic healing, and a gematria, a number mysticism. So you're reading like a coded text, which was badly, badly translated and quite maligned. So I used to have wonderful conversations with John Michel over a beer for a few hours, and he'd be looking at something, talking about sharing the Greek gematria, and I would say, well, that's true, John, but then in Hebrew it means this. And we had a tremendous, fun gematria conversation going on. I miss John. Here's the third one, 33. And unfortunately, in Western culture, people think of 33 as crucifixion, right? It's not. It's not at all. 33 speaks of the masters of the heart, the embodiment of body, mind, spirit energies, cosmic waveforms, and I call it spiritual friends, or the beloved, because it's Uranian electromagnetic mastery at the 3 major centers in the body, the hara, the heart, and the pineal gland, okay? And in the tree of life, and I'm not going to show that photo, you actually have 10 spheres and 22 pathways. And 33 is the mastery of the tree of life. So Janet, I don't know if Bert was in this one. I'm sorry that I had to put it sideways for the slideshow, but there are actually 33 circles in that one. Hands were apparently glowing upon entrance, according to Janet. And you can see it's like a flock of swallows. So this is about slipstreaming. Slipstreaming swallows, and there's a hidden geometric code based on hexagonal and multiple stars of David under that. I didn't put that on a graphic. And maybe the sweetest of all the crop circles, the slipstreaming swallows. So the oracle goes, trust in the great mystery, but keep an eye on your camels. That's a slight twist on a Sufi way of saying it, but I needed to make it a little bit more universal. And then the caravan route that you follow right to the oasis is Rumi's suggestion that when one is in a caravan, a flock of spiritual initiates, seekers, it allows you to slipstream. And slipstreaming is what Nassim Haramein is talking about when he's saying that there's an infinite source of energy at the core of every atom. But we have to clear the clutter. There's a few feng shui practitioners in this room that work with clearing the clutter, which is the interference patterns that keep you from slipstreaming and having really clear connection. 44. Again, the circle's a little bit sideways. It's based on 22. The fraction 44 over 14 gives you the 22/7, which is the simple way of getting to pi. But what people have never understood about 314, it is actually the gematria of the being they call Metatron an archangel. It's not really an archangel. Metatron is, Drunvalo had an interesting idea as the energy that sends out all of the waveforms in the universe in the Akashic, so that everything that ever materializes, the Metatronic energy is behind that. And I think there was a Buddhist group making gold-covered designs that were called Metatronics. So this one is a natural sanctuary, and used as a mandala or a card, you could be charging water, you could be creating radionic remedies, you could be potentizing with this simple crop circle design alone. So there's a whole element of healing that's coming in with the crop circles, and we haven't quite attuned to it yet, but I would say this one would be a good key to it. So the oracle goes, discover the sanctuary within your heart from where all spirals of light and geometric energy fields are emanated. And this is something that Drunvalo is teaching in his higher heart work, is that actually our physical heart is like a wormhole, and all of the electromagnetic fields of our Merkava, and it's more than, there are a lot of fields, emanate out of the heart. Both Drunvalo and Greg Braden are very keen on what is called heart math. So if you tune into the Institute of Heart Math, there's a whole science now budding of the electromagnetic fields emanating out of the heart's core. And this is, find the plenum at the core of the void. For the longest time, physicists felt that we were in a universe that was running down, that there was a big burst, and now we're in an entropic universe. We are now understanding, and Nassim's work is validating this, that we are actually in a universe that has ongoing creation. And this is the teachings of the Kabbalah. There was no Big Bang at all. We are in an ongoing creation, and it's up to us to become co-creators. And I'm trying to define some of the teachings of the crop circles, and one of them is become a co-creator. So if you were in a circle of, say, crack sacred geometry explorers, and you got all excited and you wanted to create a crop circle, I've heard of one where a few people went out, to create a crop circle with a meditating geometric form, this and that. A couple of them slept in. One of them missed the highway. I don't know if anybody showed up, but the circle appeared. What does that mean? That means that there's a level of attunement, alignment with beings in other dimensions, and they sent the circle down. Thank you for your intent. You guys are kind of young. You haven't figured it out yet. Like that. I'm not kidding. I've been coming a long time. I hear some interesting stories. So finding the plenum at the core of the void, think of that psychologically. Every time you hit a psychological wall where you feel that you've got closure on a relationship, or your bank account just went into the overdraft, or whatever, remember that little card, tune in, and realize that it could be a gateway through a psychological void that allows you to tune into the infinite plenum abundance of the universe. You just have to recalibrate your perception. Okay? We're going to, there's a little bridge to 55. I couldn't not put this one in. It's my favorite. I had this over my bed for a while, the Windmill Hill Time Tunnel. Just an unbelievable formation So I called it the mark of majesty, potency, vibrational uniqueness. I played it up a little bit. Dimensional wormhole, like in Star Trek. What I would like you to consider is if you were there and had the opportunity to do ceremony, and I've only done it like maybe 3 times, had a group of people. Once at Stephen Caron's group, I had something like 60 people, and I managed to get a ceremony in a crop circle, 47 people, and it was powerful. They truly are temporary temples. And usually it's kind of loosey-goosey. We go, individuals are meditating in different places, tuning in, but it's really beautiful for a whole group to be in intent in a circle. So imagine you were in a circle, kind of like climbing up the Tor, and you went like here and then here, clockwise, counterclockwise, counter. You kept doing it. You get here, and then all of a sudden you switch, and you go like this. It would take you a long time to walk this crop circle and do it. Maybe you'd be chanting along the way, but when you get here, that is what, for Trekkies, you'd call that your transporter room. Meaning that when you're here, you're simultaneously here. That's what a time tunnel or a portal is about. So this one, the number 52. Why did I put it at 52? Well, because I knew about the number 52 being the gematria of the one that most people call Thoth, but in Egyptian it would be Jehuti, the Atlantean master, the Emerald Tablet, all of that, okay? And then there's the Viracocha, or Quetzalcoatl, is also the number 52 in symbology, and the Hebrew character named Elijah. You must know the story of Elijah, yeah? Some yes, most. Elijah was the one that, in the story, like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, he got taken up by what is called a sa'ara, a whirlwind. And so he didn't die. There's only a few stories in the Hebrew world, you know, people who didn't die, who just got taken off planet. So if you raise your frequencies to a level, you know, at 5th dimension or above, then you are taken up. Doesn't mean that you die, or it means that you are up into a higher vibrational body. So meditation on that particular card is for a dimensional upgrade to tune in to a higher frequency zone, okay? Close your eyes, I'll do the Eliyahu chant. Why not? It's simply, well, I'll explain it. It goes like this. Take a good deep breath. Take a deep breath, and I'm going to do it one more time the way a Native American would do it. Take one deep breath, blow it out, and I'll explain a little bit about the science of sound. Every vowel, when it's done in a harmonic way, will resonate your tree of life or your chakra grid, okay? So this is from the teachings of the Sufi master Hazrat Inayat Khan. A high A is opening up the soul star. E is working around the third eye. Ah, in a harmonic way, is opening up the heart. Hebrew word for love is ahava. Most of the Middle Eastern languages